And on today's episode of Another Woman That Has Now Regretted Her Divorce. Let's go.
Hey, it's Jenna. Recently divorced and kind of figuring out this new way of life. I was married for 23 years and with that person for 3 years prior. So for a total of 26 years of my life, I have been out of the game of dating, making friends, going out, and stuff like that as a single woman in her 40s. Yeah, I'm 47. So I've raised children. My children are adult children now. And it's kind of interesting because it's so lonely at this stage in life after divorce, especially with older children, because you make all your friends when they're younger, or at least I did. I met my friends mostly through my kids' activities. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I took them to practices. I went to school, all that stuff. Hey, it's me, Jenna. Recently divorced and trying to survive this year. I'm gonna be honest, the random things that trigger me are the craziest things. I'm sitting in my car, literally sitting in my car, trying to pull myself together because I did what any mom does, and I pulled an emergency drive to my daughter because she needed something, and drove an hour because she's at college to drop something off, and was just so thankful that I could do it for her and fit her in my schedule. And the littlest thing she said just triggered me. And this is the second time in a week that my child has triggered me without even meaning to. So we're getting ready to leave, and she's like, well, I'll be home because I'm going to be at the Clemson Notre Dame game because Dad's going to take us all. You think that's nothing, right? Nothing, right? And it instantly, she instantly saw a switch in me. And she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, nothing. Because, I don't talk about that stuff. I don't want her to worry. So last week she says, oh, well, Dad said for Christmas we're going to go to Gatlinburg and be there for the holidays and do Dollywood. That man never once ever went to Gatlinburg or Dollywood ever in his entire life before he met me. That was where my family always went. I'm from Tennessee. That's something we always did. It was a bonding thing. And now that's what he's trying to do. It's like he's taken every single tradition I've ever done and now turned it into his. Everything I've ever done. Now I find myself triggered because during the hardest time of my year last year, of me literally trying to stay alive, me dealing with all the craziness of my ex, the lying, the alienation, him calling me a whore, him having my children call me a whore. Why? Not because I did anything bad, because I wore spaghetti straps and all that. And the only way that he could use my children against me was to say I was on social media. I'm a photographer. I make silly TikToks. Honestly, I probably progressed more with my TikToks because at first they were just pictures. But the more I was stressed, the more I hid in myself, the more I tried to survive, the more I took refuge in TikToks and finding stuff that, resonated with me. And honestly, it's the way I realized what a covert narcissist was, or how bad my abuse was, or mental abuse, or financial abuse, and all that stuff. Literally, TikTok has saved my life in so many ways. Who would think, Mom, we're going to Gatlinburg for Christmas, would trigger me? This man's had at least 3 vacations in the past year to really nice places with my children. At least 3 that I know of, because he has them lie to me. He has them outright lie to me about so much stuff. So who knows? God knows what they've done. And then the holidays and all that. Now my triggers are, oh, he gets to just go and take my kids to the Notre Dame and Clemson game. I wish I could do that. I can't afford to do that. Why? Because he screwed me. He lied about owning a company. And there's ways to prove it. I'm trying to be happy and show my kids that life can move on, but the random fucking triggers that had me sitting in a Quick Trip parking lot trying not to cry. Why? Because my ex has so much money. He makes more than $18,000 a month easily, or at least he did. He made almost $1 million the year before we divorced and then lied about it. He has all the money at his fingertips to do whatever he wants, to buy my children, take them on trips, take them on vacations. Why I literally have the bare minimum to pay my bills, on top of trying to restart a career because it was a hobby, because I was a stay-at-home mom. And now I sit here with the triggers. a fucking trigger because he's going to the Clemson Notre Dame game with my kids. I can't just randomly afford that. Hell, I can't even get them all in the same room at the same time. So I sit here.
Looks like Will Poulter's mom is going through a crisis. Notice how she doesn't highlight the stress her husband or children? As in the case with most TikTok feminists, the explanations are packed with subjective personal pronouns. All you hear is me, me, me. Where's my money? Those are my kids. Those are my triggers. Western women are getting divorced at record rates, and it's no surprise to any of us that life on the other side wasn't like she expected. Judges and lawyers are making bank, convincing women to jump off the boat at the slightest sign of discomfort, and for the most part, these broads snatch the opportunity like it's a $10,000 gift card to Sephora. And yet, once they finally achieve the progressive dream, reality suddenly hits them like a ton of bricks. All they're left with is a nest egg to match their crow's feet and a temperamental vibrator in their bedside drawer. Meanwhile, the men in this equation continue to welcome the struggle, moving on with their lives and making the best out of a criminal verdict. Before we go further into the video, let me share the comment of the day. Shout out to Oysterman250, who shared, "If you're 45 and using like every third word, it's time to grow up." If only these Western women would ever grow up, right? So please, don't forget to reach out to my email to claim your $5. As always guys, I'll pick one comment from each video. It could be the funniest, the most liked, or one that moved me, so don't forget to leave a comment and you could be our next winner. So be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons too, as it helps out a ton. So now, let's get right back into the video. Here's a woman stating the obvious.
Here's why women regret divorce more than men. Financially speaking, women's lives get worse after the divorce, while men's get better. The standard of living for women goes down an average of 27%, while the standard of living for men goes up 10%. So you can see why women may feel that their lives get worse after divorce, because their standards of living go down while their ex-husband's standard of living goes up.
This development is why so many 304s think the system is on the side of men. They think that the invisible hand has favored us, but they refuse to give that hand a name. Fate. It's something the Western female doesn't understand. They're living their lives throwing their male friends and partners in front of them, shielding themselves from adversity, not realizing that it takes a tremendous effort to survive. Men are thrown into the current almost immediately. We wander the world with intention looming in the back of our minds. We know that if we let our guard down, we'll receive no handouts to help us bounce back. For the most part, chicks have no idea what independence really means. There are thousands of networks out there that will coddle them as soon as they find themselves down on their luck. This only adds to the potency legal system sales pitch. Let's just take a look at this webpage post from Buncher as it tries to argue that eggless women have a hope for a rebound. This part of the article is titled, "Is Now the Time?" As women enter their 40s, questions about the right time to get divorced often arise. However, there are many reasons to get divorced, and understanding the motivations for making this significant life change is integral to the decision-making process. Number 1. Women in their 40s often face the dual challenges of raising children and advancing in their career simultaneously. They must balance financial goals like building wealth, paying off debt, and saving for the future, which adds to the pressure of motherhood. This can cause stress, which in turn affects their marriage and personal growth. Number 2. While many women in their 40s cherish their role as mothers, they can also experience regret and a loss of their own identity after years of putting others' needs first. These feelings can lead them to reevaluate their life choices. In fact, 44% of women who divorced in their 40s said that they felt they had sacrificed too much in their marriage. Number 3. However, there's also an empowering aspect to this phase of life. Many women in their 40s are at the peak of their earnings potential and are financially self-sufficient. This economic independence coupled with their life experience can give women in their 40s more freedom to pursue their own interests and goals. According to one report, 62% of affluent women who divorced in their 40s said they were financially better off after the divorce. Number 4, women in their 40s may also feel there's still plenty of time to find happiness again. Whether it's the desire to explore new opportunities, pursue personal growth, or redefine oneself. In fact, one study found that women who divorced in their 40s reported higher levels of life satisfaction, self-esteem, and well-being, in contrast to women who stayed in unhappy marriages. This is a family law organization. Aside from the misnomer, the points here are a clear sales pitch, and men know every point in this list is a blatant lie. First off, the whole idea of dual challenges is a farce. The average married man ends up carrying a majority of the weight because these chicks have made apathetic motherhood a trend. They'll pull out their phones to take a quick picture with their kid as they eat an ice cream cone, and then throw their infant into the arms of a man who completed their 12-hour shift. Second, Western women don't cherish motherhood. If anything, most of them blame their partners for getting pregnant in the first place. But this is the real part to focus on. These women feel they sacrifice too much. There was a time when women prided themselves in being professional parents, something they were once naturally wired to do. Now, every responsibility has been relabeled as a burden, and every obligation is now labeled as a sacrifice. Third, nothing about this decision is empowering. This term has become as ubiquitous as the 22-year-old thought uses the word trauma to describe how her Starbucks order came out wrong. Nothing in your life was actually hard, ladies. You got to walk around the house in sweatpants feeding a toddler. How is this in any way equivalent to a corporate job or a day at the oil rig? You're not fooling anyone. And the last one might be the greatest lie of all. There is no time left for happiness as the single 40-year-old female. For some bizarre reason, these crypt keepers think painting a flower while drunk off of a $5 bottle of wine somehow puts them up there with monks in a Shaolin monastery. The honest truth is that you abandon your family. You are not a hero. Take a look at this.
There's this. These are papers for divorce. And it's very sad. I don't understand how 8 years trying my best to love somebody and fight for them and put up with so much abuse can just be wiped out with little papers. It's not easy. And as much as I know that this needs to happen, it still hurts. Because I never wanted this. I actually did love him. And I know how can you love somebody that does those things to you? I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe I see brokenness in people, and I know that we can all be better people and heal if we want to. I'm sad. It's this. This is the dreams that I had for us as a family and as husband and wife, and these little pieces of paper, little flimsy pieces of paper can break and end something that's so strong in somebody's heart. It's hard. I'll get through, but I'm sharing my journey with you guys, every part of it. Just so you know that you're not alone, and you guys make me feel not alone. So, here goes.
The music isn't doing anything, sweetheart. You're not an Avenger. You're a washed-up 6 with the ability to gaslight for long periods of time. This husband you keep crying about doesn't care because you likely put him through a level of strain he wouldn't wish on his worst enemy. You regret it because you wanted to inflict major damage on the guy's mind and take half his net worth away. Now you're turning on your camera to cry because he turned out to be a stoic, leaving you to live the lonely life with a future body count likely to break a dollar store calculator. Check out this Reddit story titled, "She Regrets It." We divorced a year ago and it destroyed me. After 12 years and 2 kids together, she cheated with a coworker and left me for him. Everyone told me that she would regret what she was doing, but she was so cold and sure that I was the one who ended up filing. After the divorce, she bought a small house and the guy lives with her. My kids live with this man for half their lives. I really try not to think about it too much, but it sucks. Then a few days ago, I got a call from her, which is strange because we barely talk. She was asking if I was happy, saying that she has no family or support network here. She's unhappy. She missed us being a family. She asked if she would ever have a chance with me again. I would have given anything to hear those words last winter. I wanted so badly to save my family, but I've moved on and I'm never going back. And boom goes the dynamite. Another Western woman running from commitment only to realize her feminist cravings bought her a one-way ticket to a life filled with depression and disappointment. We're all so surprised. She had the perfect plan. How did it go wrong? So many of these women think living with one dick is like chopping your way through the jungles of Vietnam. They make the worst possible choice, and then they often come crawling back for a mulligan. There's an obvious reason for this. For too long, society has convinced these unfaithful wives that life is like an indie video game. If you jump off the cliff, you can respawn right where you left off. Then when guys move on, as we are biologically primed to do, they act as if we should behave like spineless simps. The fact of the matter is that any high-value male with common sense can smell the ruse from a mile away. We're not falling for it, especially when we're smart enough to subscribe to the message this channel represents. This Reddit post comes from the other side of the fence titled 6 months later, divorcing my husband was a huge mistake. If I could give anyone a piece of advice for divorce, it would be to not do it under normal circumstances. We were together for 8 years, was mostly good, and we have 4 kids. Right around 5 years, I got a promotion at work, and I got it in my head that my XH was dragging me down, or at least holding me back from more success and a better life. We never had a lot of money, but with my promotion, I was now making more than he was. I started working longer hours, and at the same time, his hours were cut so he was at home more. I began to resent him because he was home and because he got to spend time with our kids. Most nights when I got home, they were already getting ready for bed if they're not already sleeping. Over the next month or two from that night, it did not matter what he did. He was wrong just for breathing most days. He would get so upset with how I was treating him, and I would just wait and egg him on into losing it because I knew it would happen eventually. After most of the fights we had, he would apologize for whatever I told him he did wrong if there was even something. But I never did. I would usually find a way to make him feel even worse. As usual, the woman in this story takes no responsibility whatsoever, but this blind decision makes sense when you read this. I could see that he was trying, and occasionally I would let him know, but for the most part, I kept being a huge bitch to him for any and all reasons that I could think of. I'm not sure how much more the man could have done to make me happy besides finding a job that paid enough for me to not have to work at all. It was around this time that I discovered this group and a few others. I started posting things about him from my perspective only, and I got so much positive feedback for how I was feeling that I knew I was right. The more I posted, the more validation that I got. It wasn't just me who knew that XH wasn't worth keeping around. I had the whole internet telling me how terrible he is. I started saying awful things to him and even outright ignoring him. I was so confident with mine and everyone else's opinion that I contacted a lawyer and within a couple of weeks had filed for divorce. I continued to use this site and a couple of others to validate my feelings and for encouragement to go through with it, and finally, it was done. There it is. Like so many Western women before her, this chick went behind her husband's back and went online to find feedback from a bunch of other eggless nut jobs. She goes on to describe hopping from one Chad in Tyrone after another, getting run through with no one willing to pick up a single mother with enough baggage to cripple a local airline. Does this come as a shock to any of us? Of course not. The only thing women want from men in the West is a cut without doing any of the work. Exhibit F.
My last relationship, we broke up because he asked me to marry him, but then he asked me to sign a prenuptial agreement, and I said absolutely not. I think that's bogus. I'm not going to sign a piece of paper that says that if you leave me, I get nothing. Like, no, I think that I should have half of everything that you've worked your entire life for. And I think that's fair.
What a keeper. This guy got lucky. Most learned men know a prenup often can't defend you from the government anyway. It's why all guys are now understanding that dating is no different from being a Formula 1 driver without a seatbelt. These modern women are so commitment averse that faceless thoughts on a forum can convince them to leave long-term marriages and stable relationships. They look for a quick payday, refusing to hop off the carousel until they're as dry as the saltine crackers at a seafood restaurant. Fortunately, MGTOW men don't even bother going that far. We're well aware that the tuna ain't fresh. We're too busy working for a living. There's no reason for us to waste any time searching for a needle in a haystack. If these articles and clips show us anything, it's that we're way better off controlling our own destiny. As always, I wish you tremendous success. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember that if you leave the best comment, you'll get $5. Thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons, ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on future uploads, drop a comment, and share it. See you in the next video. Till next time.